So we are back. It's been a long time since we've done a video, and this one is in a specific response to a lot of questions, and more than questions, actually, I'm being talked at about inflation and about the money supply in particular, and the way the Biden administration has pumped money into the economy. We're going to talk about that today. Unfortunately, that topic is very chart heavy, so there's going to be a lot of cutaways to charts and a lot of, charts overlaying me. But let's start with this chart, which is actually a chart showing the correlation from January 1960 to January 2010 of money supply to CPI inflation, right? So specifically, we're going to talk about consumer price inflation, or consumer price index rather, the inflation in consumer prices. So I want you to look at that chart. I'm going to give you a few seconds and find the pattern. Okay? It's not jumping out right away. Okay, it's in there. I'll show you. So we'll shrink the chart a little bit. 98 to 2009, 10-year spread. We're going to show you consumer price index to money supply again. See the pattern? Okay, one more shot. We're actually going to overlay it in this chart with some calculus algorithms that shows the median trend lines. See how those waves go together? Can't find it? Yeah, there is no trend. It doesn't actually correlate at all. What's interesting is in this chart, if there was a correlation, it's 6 years between any reaction to any money supply. So to think that money supply just was flushed into the market in the last 6 months and all of a sudden we have inflation doesn't make any sense at all. It actually doesn't correlate at all that I can find. But I think I have an explanation. It turns out that there is a dramatic correlation in consumer behavior regardless of money supply. And so look at this next chart. This next chart is a representation of a negative binomial distribution. Negative binomial distributions were first kind of discovered and applied by Andrew Ehrenberg to consumer behavior. And it was all kinds of consumer behavior. It was grocery stores, it was cars. You could actually apply this very symmetric chart to all kinds of consumer behavior. And you look at the next chart, and this kind of defines how consumers space out in relation to brands. And it turns out that everybody's busy, everybody just wants to get their shopping done. Brand loyalty doesn't really exist much, and they've done a lot of studies on this, and it's very mathematical. So this distribution applies on all consumer products all the time. Who buys and how often is what this binomial distribution is showing. Double jeopardy is this idea that smaller brands have the double risk of having less of the market share and buyers in their brand category buying less of that brand. So if they have 14% of the market share of their buyers, they buy it 3 times versus the person with 25% of the market share, their buyers buy 6 times, right? So they're more repetitive buyers. It never goes the opposite way. You never have a smaller brand where the buyers buy more frequently. Never happens. Everybody likes to talk about these hardcore, brand loyalists like for Harley Davidson or brands like that. It actually doesn't exist in the math. You can actually look at the math and show that the larger market share you have, the more repeat buyers you have, the more often they buy. The less market share you have, the less often your buyers buy. It works out every single time. And even promotions don't change consumer behavior. So even with promotions, there's no change in consumer behavior. We've got some other information in the next couple of videos that as part of this continuing series that will give you more information on the economy and actually how to work through the money supply and things that will impact your balance sheet and your wallet as we go to the next videos. So, but consumer behavior does not change with money supply. Inflation does not correlate on the consumer price index to money supply. I'll see you next one.